Today we're going to look at doing some DIY machine maintenance to keep your machine running smoothly so that sewing or embroidering on it is fun. Let's start by looking at oiling the machine. Now, if you own a Brother machine, you might have noticed that in the manual they tell you not to oil your machine. That is because the parts are made of special materials that do not require oil, but please always check your machine manual to verify this. Now, I always like to keep sewing machine oil in my sewing room, and please make sure that if you are going to use the techniques that I show you today, that you only use sewing machine oil and no other oil. And I'm not going to be using this oil to oil the machine. I'm going to be using it simply to lubricate certain parts of the machine. Now, by doing regular maintenance yourself and keeping your machine in tip-top condition, you'll get many years of good service from it. So let's have a look at how we can do our own basic maintenance. Please note, you'll notice that my machine is on while I'm showing you how to do this maintenance. Now, the only reason that I'm leaving my machine on is so that it is well lit. However, when you are doing this on your machine, please make sure that you turn your machine off for safety's sake. Thank you. Now, at least once a month, I like to unthread my needle and then I lower the needle so that the top part of the shaft is visible. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a soft cloth or a clean piece of tissue, and then I will remove all the fluff and dust that is built up on the shaft. Now, my machine is pretty clean because I do this fairly regularly, as I say, once a month, because what happens is the fibers from the fabric build up and collect on that shaft, and I like to remove them with the soft tissue. Then the next thing that I like to do is I take just one little drop. Now, please don't use too much oil and don't apply the oil directly from the bottle. Just put a little tiny drop on your finger. Now, it must just be one drop. Then you're going to take your finger and just rub that up and down the shaft. So I do the sides and the front and the back. Now, this will just lubricate that shaft nicely so that it goes up and down smoothly while you are busy sewing. If you don't like to put the oil on from your finger, what you can do is also take your bottle of oil and just put one tiny little drop onto an earbud, and then use the earbud to actually apply it to that shaft. Now, the other place that I like to clean and oil is on the automatic needle threader, but you need to be incredibly gentle here and just lower the needle threader just sufficiently so that you can get in there to clean. Do not lower it all the way down, otherwise it will want to jump back up. Now, once you've cleaned it with the soft tissue, just put a little bit of oil on your finger and then put that onto those two little shafts, and that will just help the needle threader to keep moving up and down smoothly without feeling as if it's getting stuck. Now, please remember, the purpose of this is just to lubricate those bars to keep them moving smoothly. So we aren't in fact oiling the machine, we're just lubricating it. Now, use only the teeny tiniest little drop to do that with. Otherwise, if you use too much oil, when you start sewing, the excess oil is going to run off of those bars and get onto your fabric and into the machine. So please only use the teeny tiniest little drop. Now, let's take a look at cleaning the bobbin area. Now, this is a very important area to keep clean, because if it's not clean, you will experience tension issues. But just before we get into the rest of this video, welcome to the Sew and Craft channel. My name is Shireen Haynes. Being creative and teaching are my passions, and I've been doing this full-time since 1993. I post easy to follow step-by-step videos for sewing and craft, and if you'd like to know when I post new videos, please click on the subscribe button, the little bell icon to be notified, as well as the like button, because this helps me to spread the word that sewing and crafting are fun. Thank you. Also, please click on the link below this video to connect to my website for even more video lessons. Now the other place that requires regular cleaning is inside the bobbin area. Now the reason that we have to do this is because what happens is dust and lint will go and sit underneath the bobbin in the bobbin case area, and then what will happen is that the bobbin won't be able to sit flat where it's supposed to sit, and it's actually going to be sitting a bit higher than usual, and then you are going to experience tension problems. Now I have already removed that top bobbin cover, and I've in fact already taken the bobbin out of the bobbin case. Now I've also removed my accessory tray, and I've popped my bobbin and the bobbin cover inside there for safekeeping, and then I also got my little cleaning brush and the little spanner screwdriver so that I can remove the little plate that covers the bobbin area. Now the next thing that I like to do is make sure that the needle is out of the way, so I press the needle up, needle down button and make sure the needle is up and completely out of the way, and then so that I make sure that I don't stitch through my finger, I'm going to activate the safety mechanism. Now I'm leaving my machine on purely because I need the extra light to show you what's going on, but please turn your machine off. Now what we can do is we're going to remove this plate that's on the top. So we first lift the presser foot, and I like to remove the actual foot, and then I pop that into my little accessory tray so that it's there also for safe keeping. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we need to remove this front plate. Now on some models they have a grey plastic plate that simply slides forward and clips off of the machine, but in this particular model you'll see that there is a little screw that we're going to have to undo. So we're going to take that little spanner screwdriver and we are just going to loosen that screw. Now once that screw is loose enough, I prefer just to turn it with my finger because it's pretty easy to do and it comes out pretty quickly. So I just wiggle my finger around until the screw comes out, and then to keep that nice and safe I put it into my little accessory tray. Now this plate is ready to just slip off. However, the plate that's at the back here, please never ever ever take that plate off. The reason being is that there are little sensors under that plate, and if you don't put that plate back properly, the machine is going to refuse to work. So theoretically you never have to take that plate off. Now the only person that should remove the plates at the back is a qualified technician. Now if you do ever have threads that are caught or jammed, simply by removing the front plate like I'm going to show you, as well as the bobbin case, you'll be able to get to any threads that are caught underneath there. So there really is no reason for you to take off the back plate that is held down by those two screws. So now I'm simply just going to slip that cover forward, and then once I've got it off, I like to take my little brush and just dust underneath there as well. Now my machine is pretty clean in there, and although it is pretty old as well, because I maintain it regularly, it always looks nice and clean. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the bobbin case right out. Now this is also often referred to as the race. Now that I've got the bobbin case out, I just dust it lightly, and now you'll notice that up at the top there's a little piece of felt. Now this is what guides your bobbin thread. Now if this ever comes loose, you can buy those little felt piles separately. They just simply stick onto there, but they are very, very important. So I'll just give the bobbin case a good clean inside and out with the little brush. So now that I'm happy that the bobbin case is clean, I'm going to store it inside my accessory tray, and I'll just quickly show you the accessory trays. Often, especially the ones that have got a back compartment, have got like a little hollow in them, so I store everything inside there just so that I know nothing can get lost. Now that this is all open, I'm going to take my little cleaning brush and I'm just going to swirl it around inside the area where that bobbin case sat. And now you'll see I clean my machine out regularly. And even though it gets cleaned regularly, if you have a look at this fluff that I've taken out there, that is quite something. So you can imagine if you don't ever clean underneath there how much fluff will build up. Now, as you can see, that's obviously from polar fleece, because that's what that black fluffy stuff is. Now, to clean inside here, please only use a little brush, and if you feel that it's too short, you can use a small paint brush, but please only use a brush. Don't use any blowers or hair dryers or any vacuum cleaners or anything mechanical, because there are little sensors in there that can get damaged. Now it's time to pop the bobbin case back into the machine. So you're going to look for the little white arrow that is on the actual bobbin case. Now that little white arrow is going to line up with a little white dot that's on the machine. So you gently just drop the bobbin case in the machine, making sure that the arrow is pointing towards the dot, and then it'll just slip neatly back into place, and you'll know that it is perfectly in position because the arrow is facing the dot. Now what I like to do is I like to just check that that bobbin case is in fact in the correct place. So I'm just going to turn off the safety mechanism, and you would now go and turn your machine back on, because once the machine is on, what I'm going to do is just press the needle down, needle up button, and then I can see that the bobbin case is moving properly and that it's not jumping around. Now it's always best just to test to see that the bobbin case isn't jumping up and down before we put the cover back on. So now I'm ready to put the cover back on, so I just pop it onto the machine and slide it back into its position, and just make sure that it's all nice and neat and flush, because then you can go and put the little screw back in. So this is how easy it is to maintain the bobbin case area, and it is just so important to keep this area clean so that your machine always functions properly. Now all I have to do is just pop the bobbin back in and then put the little clear cover back on, and I'm ready to use my machine again. Now if you would like to have access to more of my videos like this, with hints, tips, techniques and projects that are all about sewing, craft, decor or digitizing, please feel free to subscribe to my channel, and remember to click on the little bell so that you won't miss any new videos that I post. Also, please click on the like button, because that helps me to spread the word that sewing and crafting are fun. Thank you.